Hey guys, welcome to another video. We're going to be doing something a little bit different in this video. It's going to be kind of a like scouting and then follow-up attack, with tweaks, watching the first one, seeing how pathing worked, and then perfecting the second attack in order to get that 3-star. But before we jump into the two attacks that I'm going to use for an example, I wanted to show you guys first hit 3 stars. A lot of people in our clan get really discouraged, and other clans too, get really discouraged when they do their first attack and they don't get a 3 stars. And then they go to do their second attack and they don't put as much effort into it, as much planning. Sometimes they just gem armies and do an attack. Don't get discouraged. Getting first hit 3 stars is exceptionally difficult. We can just scroll through all these attacks right here and count them. There were 48 attacks this war. We had 2 people who didn't attack. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see here, 6, 7, 8, 9. Looks about 10. So 10 out of 48 attacks were first hit 3 stars. Some of those were first attacks, some of those were second attacks, but on enemy bases, 10 were first hit 3 stars. That's only about 20%. That's not really super high by any means, I don't think. But I don't consider it super low either. But comparatively, we almost had a perfect war. We only did not 3-star 2 bases. So most of our 3-star attacks came on those second hits. So please don't get discouraged if your first hit is not a 3-star. Watch replays, do some planning, and go for that second hit 3-star because that's what really, really matters. Alrighty. Getting into it, we're going to be covering number 1 today, the top Town Hall 10. So some really good high-level content here. In an odd turn of events, I ended up hitting it. Paul the Great, our number 2, hit it first, and then I hit it second for a cleanup. Most of the time at the Town Hall 10 action, we only get to hit each base once, but because we were kind of outnumbered on the Town Hall 10 content, and stuff was going pretty well at the Town Hall 9 level, Town Hall 10's got to do some cleanup attacks, and that led to me being able to do a cleanup on number 1. So before we jump into this, we're going to do a quick scout of what Paul and I talked about for when he hit it, and then changes that I made when we did the second hit. So we were talking about, at first, doing a queen walk here, breaking in and walking something like that, and, clearing out probably most of these buildings, getting the queen. Some pretty good value there. And because this expo is on ground, it really wouldn't target that area very much. Whereas this expo is on, this expo is on ground, so it would cover like all the way to out here and she'd be shot at the whole time. This expo where she's walking is on ground air, so it really only covers to like right there, not very far in. We were looking at that, but we didn't really like that a whole bunch, so we decided on something else. We decided to start our queen walk here and short little walk that way. This air defense is butted up right up against there, so she can shoot it. So she would clear out all this. There are also a couple holes in the base, right there, right there, right there, which helped a lot. So we could put some barbarians there, do it super easy CC lure, poison them as they came out, do a rage, kill it, and then wall break in right here. And the queen has created a nice natural funnel right about there. Valks would path straight across and wreck the base. That was our plan. The pathing on this base was really weird though, and it ended up stopping Paul, so then I made adjustments when I hit it. Let's watch and see what happened, and then we'll cover the changes that I made and watch my hit. There's Paul, there we go. Drops an earthquake spell, just do some damage, drops the queen up there with the healers on her, so she walks clockwise, drops those barbarians in those empty spots, pulls out the CC. It's got a dragon and a witch in it. Pulls some skeleton traps. And this was the first mistake that Paul made. He used the rage spell right there. I think he forgot he had a poison spell. I'm not really sure, but he spends a lot of time on those skeletons. The dragon has to use his ability there. eventually slowly gets through it all, but he wasted a lot of time on that. The poison spell definitely would have helped. Um, Drops his golems with wizards behind each collector. And because that kind of took so long with the CC and all of the little traps from the skeletons, he didn't really get to develop his Queen Walk very much. Wall broke in, sent in all the Valks, followed by the king, and this is where stuff got weird. He boom, he drops a heal spell, but they completely avoided it. Drops a rage spell. They pretty much avoided that too. They got a little bit. Then they bounced over to the queen where he got a good jump spell, and they completely avoided that Inferno Tower, the Tesla, and the Wizard Tower over there. The queen kept walking, and the healers switched targets onto the king and the remaining Valks. That is a single target Inferno, so at some point I think it locks on the king and wrecks him. The queen keeps walking all the way around. There you go. King goes down. And there was a lot of back and forth action with that jump spell right there. Troops weren't sure which way to go because the heroes, and there was a lot of just back and forth, inefficient, kind of waste of time type stuff. So there's a lot of improvements that I saw when I watched this. But even with all of that kind of stuff that went wrong, I guess you could say, he ends up with a 92% 1-star. Now, it's only a 1-star, but it's a 92%. He only had, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more buildings to destroy, and we're talking about a 3-star. My general rule is if it's like 85, 90% plus, stick with the plan, figure out what went wrong, and just make small tweaks. And finish up that percent. You don't need to drastically change from an air attack to, a ground attack or something like that. If it's close, stick with the plan, make small changes. Now we're going to go ahead and watch my attack and the small changes that I made. So I dropped my queen. I have a lower level queen than Paul, obviously. I just went to Town Hall 10 a couple weeks ago. Did the same thing. Dropped the barbarians, get stuff triggered. Dropped one poison spell at the feet of the queen in order to get all those skeletons. I dropped one further back to get the witch before she had a chance to spawn a lot of skeletons. And because of those 2 poison spell drops, I didn't have to use a rage or the queen ability, which ends up being extremely key later on. And because that CC kill did not take near as long, I was able to develop my queen walk quite a bit more. So she starts to head clockwise. She's got the Expo locked on her, which ends up helping out the golem live longer because I do not have max golems yet. So there I get to use my rage spell a little bit further down in the walk than Paul did. Drop my golem. Drop the wizards behind in order to create the funnel. Drop my Valks out of the CC, drop a couple Valks. Now here's what I did majorly differently. I saved 7 Valks. He dropped all of his Valks and his king all at once, and they pathed in, and they completely skipped that one Inferno. So my thought was, hey, there's a hole there. I use it to lure the CC. That hole's still there, and that's where all of the troops missed. So I'll drop my king and those other 7 Valks in that spot, and they'll kill the Inferno and the Tesla that the other group missed when Paul did it. So they go through. I got 2 jump spells to cover both hero platforms depending on pathing. A rage spell, drop the stuff in the core. Unfortunately, that single target Inferno roasted my king a lot faster than I was anticipating. The queen decided to break in and not keep walking like it did in Paul's, but it's okay. And you guys saw how quickly all of that happened. It was very, very fast. The healers switch targets up top, start to heal the Valks. This little Golemite and Wizard here is total hero. Probably saved me the raid. Right as the Golemite dies, boom, and the other hero. Sweet. Pop the ability, take down the Town Hall. Eventually those healers switch back onto the queen. So like I said, guys, small changes. I didn't really do anything fundamentally different. I pretty much had the exact same army composition, I think. Maybe minus a few wall breakers, maybe even less Valk. I don't have all my camp space yet. I just made some small tweaks, but the majority of the work was done by Paul's first hit. I got to see all the pathing. I got to see what was in the CC. I got to see where some of the bombs were, stuff like that. Paul did most of the work, and I just like came up with a couple ideas that I thought would work as changes, and they ended up did working. Again, if the first hit on a base is a high percent, like 85% plus, just make small tweaks to get that 100%. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like and comments below.